Go to Charlie Gasparino is here with us in New York on Elon Musk, and Hillary's talking about the possibility of recusals. Maybe it's even more than that, but how do you think this all ends up?
It's a mess, and I've been talking to traders, investment bankers on this. No one has ever seen, in recent memory, a story about a LBO, which essentially this would be a leverage buyout. Right. Probably, unless the Saudis write him a huge check, which is probably not going to happen, of this size, which will be the largest ever, by the way, come down like this. Remember what happened? Story leaked in the FT around 12/18.
About the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund.
2 days ago,
yeah.
Right? Stock starts to spike. Leaked sources. I mean, this wasn't like a company announcement.
Right.
Within 15 minutes of that, he puts out his tweet that he wants to take a private and funding secured.
Yep.
Then there's a sort of scramble among reporters and everybody else to figure out who was funding.
Yeah, we had no idea what was going on.
And nobody knows. And then later on, there's a press release from the company which kind of lays out his plans. That is raising red flags all over Wall Street. I haven't met a single person that believes that he has funding secured. That doesn't mean he doesn't. And here's what I would say, Connell, and I've been talking to a lot of bankers. I've been talking to a lot of lawyers about this. Harvey Pitt is a good guy to turn to on this. The SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, was established in the following the stock market crash of '29 in the 1930s, where they passed the various securities laws first that created the SEC. And I think Joe Kennedy was the first SEC chairman, President John F. Kennedy's father. Right. Was passed for a simple reason, so little guys didn't get screwed by the big guys. That the big guys had to do basic stuff right. They couldn't blow smoke to the entire market to mislead people.
So what do you think?
They had to file stuff.
What are you saying then?
My point is this, and if the SEC, we need an SEC to make sure that CEOs just don't go on Twitter and say whatever comes to mind and move stocks.
Yeah.
If the SEC can't hold, if Elon Musk doesn't have funding secured, and I mean in a vernacular definition of funding. Like,
and not only have it now, had it then.
Had it. If he didn't have it then, and they let him get away with making that statement without some sort of enforcement action, well, then the SEC should not exist. This is basic, fundamental disclosure and securities law. The Securities Acts of 33 and 34 were established to make sure small investors got disclosure and accurate.
Musk might not survive this.
If he said funding secure, he does not have funding. The SEC, if it wants to have any relevance in the world, okay, I am telling you, this is worse than missing the Bernie Madoff scandal in this sense. A lot more people lost money there.
Of course.
But, you can make a case that it was, hidden and hard to find, even though it really wasn't. I mean, you can make a case, I could see how they screwed that up, even though it was Keystone Cops. This is so fundamental. He says X, and if it's not true, something has to come down on this guy. Something. Now, the other thing is, if he said X and he didn't have it, and the board lets him to get away with it, if they don't hold that board accountable, there is no need for corporate governance at the board level.
Well, the incentive for the board, not that it would be right, but the incentive for the board to let Elon Musk get away with anything would be that no one can imagine Tesla without Elon Musk. I mean,
I'm sorry, you gotta follow laws.
Of course,
the whole basis of the securities laws that were created to establish the Securities and Exchange Commission and the whole notion of corporate governance is to hold corporate chiefs accountable to do the basic things right, like telling the truth. I'm not saying he's not telling the truth, but if he didn't have funding secured and the SEC doesn't bring a charge against him, they are establishing an insane precedent. They are establishing a precedent that they're unnecessary, that they should just start over and create another agency. They are, and if the board lets them get away with it, there is no need for boards.
It'll be interesting to see how this whole thing. I mean, it was crazy the other day to watch this. So we didn't know idea what was going on. By the way, the markets. What do you make of Turkey and everything else today that we're watching?
Well, I mean, listen, the markets are on edge because Donald Trump is doing something totally absurd for a guy that deregulated and cut taxes and basically got the economy moving in the right direction. To sort of go into this trade fiasco, not in a way that was concerted and dealing with really bad players like China. And I'm not saying Turkey's like a perfect player.
Yeah, well, this is more than trade. This is obviously big-time politics, and we're not getting along
what I'm saying is that the markets are on edge because of Trump's trade insanity.
He uses it as a weapon. He'll use the tariffs.
Think about how stupid what he said once. This is what he said. Tariffs are the greatest.
No, I know.
If that ever to come out of any, listen, you might want to say tariffs are a necessary evil.
He's trying to use them as a weapon.
But no, but think about that. The president of the United States making that boneheaded of a comment. Tariffs are the greatest.
Well,
everybody. There's no other rationale but to say that is stupidity.
In that case, he was, he was talking about his overall trade war with China, whatever he's doing.
No, but tariffs are not the greatest.
No, I mean, I'm not arguing that they are. I'm not going to sit here and
I'm just saying.
I mean, we could find. I was going to say we could find someone.
When you have a president,
the guy we had on the other day, Speakerman, he would take the other side.
No, he wouldn't say they're the greatest. He would say that they're a necessary evil to achieve a goal.
Right.
I am telling you, when you have the president of the United States making boneheaded economic comments like that, markets will be on edge on stuff like this.
Do you think he's making any progress on any of it, would you say? With the Chinese, for example, we just talked to Scott Shelley a minute ago. Oil wasn't on their list. There's signs maybe in the Communist Party that not everybody's getting along with Xi Jinping, according to a Reuters report today. So there's, you could make the case that maybe he's making progress, even if you don't agree with the economic rationale.
Listen, the way to make progress with China is to isolate them even more, not for us to go on it. Take our trading partners, say we all have a common goal. Let's hurt the bad guy, the bad actor.
That would have been TPP, which we now backed out of, which was a total.
It was ridiculous.
Discussion.
It was a whole.
Overall.
It was absurd.
We're down 180, and we'll keep on top of the markets. Thank you, Charlie.